He's so soft-spoken that it's sometimes easy to miss what he's said because he has a lot of speaking engagements. But India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has been dropping truth bomb after truth bomb after truth bomb on Indian foreign policy and geopolitics while on tour in the United States, frequently targeting the American media and American policymakers. In the latest, he's called out Western hypocrisy on the issue of India's abrogation of Article 370. This comment has exploded on the internet. Listen in.
What was a temporary provision of the Constitution was finally put to rest. This was supposed to be act of majoritarian. No, wait. This was supposed to be majoritarian. Now tell me, what was happening in Kashmir was not majoritarian. There was a big song and dance about internet being cut. Okay. Now, if you've reached a stage where you say an internet cut is more dangerous than the loss of human lives, then what can I say? I think the way facts are slanted, things are played up, what is right, what is wrong is confused. This is actually politics at work.
He says things so gently and politely that it's sometimes easy to miss how scathing and cutting Dr. Jaishankar's comments really are. The External Affairs Minister also on this visit ripped apart Western media and what he called biased anti-India propaganda carried out by certain vested interests and publications. Take a look at this.
There are these biases, there are these efforts really to determine, how, I put it, look, the more India goes its way, and the people who believe that they were the custodians and the shapers of India lose ground in India, the more actually some of this debate is going to come outside. Because they are not winning in India. So they will try and win outside India, or try and shape India from outside. So this is something which we need to be aware of. It is important to contest it. It is important because most of the Americans, they would not know sort of the nuances and the complexities of our world. So it's important, not to sit back, not to let other people define you.
And this was right after. Not only did S. Jaishankar call out Western hypocrisy on Kashmir, he also schooled the United States, sitting right there in Washington, on the hypocrisy over the sale of F-16 fighter jets and spare parts to Pakistan. Listen in to the minister's straight talk on what has been a very, very sensitive issue for many years. F-16s for Pakistan.
For someone to say, I'm doing this because it is for counter-terrorism, when you are talking of an aircraft like the capability of the F-16, everybody knows where they are deployed and what is the use and what is their capability. So, you're not fooling anybody by saying these things. So, the point is, we really think countries finally make their choices based on their own interests. And I would make a case, if I were to speak to American policymakers, I would really make a case saying, look, what you are doing, forget about us for a moment, it's actually not good for you, what you are doing. Reflect on the history, look at the last 20 years of where this relationship has taken you, and how much, what a cost you're paying.
Another comment by the External Affairs Minister that has caused a lot of buzz online, was some candid talk by this very polished former diplomat talking about his special connect with Prime Minister Modi. Remember, Dr. S. Jaishankar was handpicked for the role of External Affairs Minister after he had been serving as the Foreign Secretary of the country. So, a very, very candid moment by Dr. Jaishankar. Take a look at this.
This was Afghanistan of that era, so you had to kind of get a friendly warlord who would go in and help your people. So all of this was happening. You're juggling 4 phones, talking to everybody, keeping the courage up at that end. and the phone rang. My phone rang, and normally, you know, when the Prime Minister calls, you get a no caller ID. So, kya ho raha hai wahan? So, because he knew, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I said, nahi sir, wo abhi attack chal raha hai, but the help is on its way, etc. I said, sir, इसमें 2-3 घंटे और लगेंगे. तो जब हो जाएगा, मैं आपके यहाँ बता दूंगा. So there was a pause. He said, मुझे phone कर देना. Okay. And I say this to you because that sense today, that sense for people who work in the government, people who are in public life, who are in political life, and I would say today people in the country. I mean, the way he put it, good times or bad times, he's there. When I was ambassador in China, and he came, he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he had come on a visit, he had come with an investment business team as well. And quite honestly, we had a lot during that period. I was 4.5 years in China. You know, we had a lot of people who came, a lot of chief ministers who came, and no question he stood out. You know, he stood out. I mean, I frankly liked Mr. Modi before I met Mr. Modi because I'm a kind of on certain matters, at least as people who worked with me would testify, possibly complain. I'm a micromanager. I like to go into details. I do my diligence, you know. So I can be quite a pain when in my professional life. Okay.
And all of those things while the External Affairs Minister was in Washington. There's been a studied silence for many of the people he was talking about. We'll have to see where that goes. Remember, he's the External Affairs Minister of the country, not just some random diplomat.